So now that we've got it working, let's write a short integration test to codify this behavior. I'm going to make a new integration test for this. We could put it somewhere else, but I like the idea that the index page gets its own test file. It's called the user's index test. Oops, and remember, we don't need the underscore test there. That gets put on automatically. Let's open it up. There it is. So what do we need here? Let's do test. Let's test the index, including pagination. And it's definitely required for us to log in, right? Because this is a protected page. So let's do that. Let's put in an @user from the fixtures. And then log in as that user. All right, what happens if we log in as the user? Well, let's get the user's path. And it should render the template's user's index. And what else should happen on this page? I want to make sure that the pagination is basically working. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to inspect this element. I want to test for something related to pagination. And here we go. There's a div here that has class pagination that's put in automatically by will paginate. So let's test for that, just to make sure the pagination has appeared. So it's a div with class pagination. And then for each of the users, let's test that there's a link to the user's profile page with content equal to the name. So that's for each of these. Let's just do the first page. Insert select A and user.name. And actually, let's put this in here. We can do that. And will this work? I'm actually not sure if this will work. Well, so this test is going to fail for a different reason. You may already have spotted it. The problem is that our test database only has 2 users. If you look at our YAML file, we've only got these 2 users. So I don't remember offhand actually if this will work. So let's do this. User path of user will definitely work. And text user.name. I think this is the right syntax. So let's try this out. This will probably go red. I mean, it better go red. Okay, we need at least enough users to trigger pagination. So that's 30 at minimum. And I actually want to add a few more. I'm just going to add a couple by hand. These are just named users that we might be able to use in other contexts. So I'm going to say Lana is here. And this is Mallory. And now I want to arrange for there to be definitely at least 30. So rather than having to subtract 4 from something, I'm just going to make 30. That's definitely going to trigger the pagination. So we've seen before in this context with the user.digest that we can use embedded Ruby inside of these fixtures. So that suggests doing this. Just create 30 users, 30.times do n. This is similar to what we did in the seeds file, right? Just like here. And then let's create user n. So that's going to be user 0 up to 29. Should be tabbed in. Oh, no, it shouldn't be. It's like this. We're just doing this sort of thing, except inside of embedded Ruby. It'll be clearer if I put an end here. So user number n and then name. Doesn't really matter what the name is, so let's just do this. We want them to be distinct. It doesn't really matter if they're distinct either, but it's easier to test if they are. And it makes this test better, right? We're testing for the text here, so it would be nice if they're all distinct. So let's just have it be user n. And email also doesn't really matter. So let's have it be user n at example.com. And of course, the password digest is the same, so let's just copy that. Save that, and let's just save this over here and see if it works at this point. So there's a parsing error. It's line 25. Oh, I just put in too much space there. YAML is sensitive to white space, so that's what happened there. All right, now it's passing. So we can get rid of this here. I want to see if this passes. Nope, so we do need the user path. I think we saw that once before. And let me see if we need this. I'm not 100% sure if we need that or not. All right, so this works. It's probably a little clearer to leave this text here, so I'm going to do that. Let's rerun the whole suite. Great, so now if we break something here, if we get rid of this here, we're not testing for both of these, but that's not the sort of thing we necessarily want to test for. We could though, we could count, we could put a count here, count 2. All right, so that failed, that's good. We're not testing for the presence of the gravatar. Again, this is the sort of thing that visually will show up right away, but we could add that if we wanted to. But this will fail if I comment that out. Great. There are automated tools, by the way, that will do things like that, that will just go through your source code and change lines and make sure that it actually breaks the test suite.